You're all pretty much f***.
Michael Douglas is a famous actor, producer, and representative of the famous acting dynasty. He's made a successful career akin to his father's, Kirk Douglas, and became a true Hollywood legend. We will tell you about his path to the top in this video. How Michael Douglas lives and how much he earns. Michael Kirk Douglas was born on September 25, 1944, in the young acting family of Kirk Douglas and Diana Dill. The boy was born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, but soon the family moved to New York. 2.5 years later, Michael had a younger brother, Joel. The family lived in a one-room apartment in the Greenwich Village area. Right now, our hero is called the heir to the show business's royal dynasty, but back then, his parents were just starting their careers. Kirk spent most of his time in California filming under a studio contract, and his marriage with Diana couldn't withstand it. Michael's parents divorced when he was 6 years old, and he stayed with his mother. 7 years later, she remarried. Stepfather became the first adult Michael could talk to about anything, and thanks to whom the young man felt confident for the first time. But at school, none of the teachers could restrain his violent temperament. Even though Michael studied well, he skipped classes and talked back to the teachers. For some time, the young man worked at a mobile gas station. Some days he was an employee of the month, and other days he would track cars and steal spare parts from them with his friends. In addition to his stepfather, the authority for Douglas Jr. was his father, who managed to become a movie icon for the whole of America. Michael was so impressed by Kirk's films and the time spent with him on the set during the summer holidays that he also wanted to become an actor. He often asked his father which doors to knock on to break into Hollywood, but he was categorically against his son's choice of profession. However, when Michael enrolled at the University of California as a dramatic arts major and played in theatrical productions, Kirk came to his son's every performance, no matter how busy he was. At university, Douglas became friends with Danny DeVito, who later became his flatmate. They rented an apartment in New York for $150 a month. At the same time, the young man earned a living by delivering coffee at the cinema and working behind the scenes. Nevertheless, Kirk contributed to the beginning of his son's acting career. Together, they starred in and produced the 1966 film Cast a Giant Shadow. The following roles came only several years later. In the late 60s, early 70s, Douglas starred in several TV series and films such as Hail Hero and Summer Tree. On the set, the young man met a young promising actress, Brenda Vaccaro. The couple was inseparable for 6 years, living like hippies and vowing eternal love to each other. Michael calls this time the most wonderful in his life. But the relationship ended abruptly. Brenda just got in the car and left. The young actor's first significant work was the role of an inspector in the TV series The Streets of San Francisco, which he received in 1972 and played for 5 years.
I've got 2 eyewitnesses.
What did they see?
Police brutality.
Oh, come on now. Joe Landers? Look, he may be a little hard-nosed, but he never manhandled anybody. I don't buy that. All right, did they see the gun go off?
Not who was holding it, no.
His partner on the set was Kirk Douglas' friend Carl Malden. He called Michael the son he never had and insisted on his participation in the project. Interestingly, even after moving to Hollywood, Michael continued to pay his part of the rent while DeVito remained in New York. Also in 1972, our hero appeared in the films When Michael Calls and Napoleon and Samantha. The latter has become a classic of American children's films. Later, Douglas was caught up with the work behind the scenes. He directed one of the episodes of Streets of San Francisco and began working on the film adaptation of Ken Kesey's novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The rights to the film adaptation belonged to Kirk, but he abandoned the hope of implementing the project, so he handed them over to his son. The film surpassed all expectations, winning 5 Oscars and bringing fabulous profits to the Douglas dynasty. Since then, our hero has acted as a producer in many films in which he starred. In 1977, Michael married the daughter of an Australian diplomat, Deandra Luker, and a year later they had a son, Cameron. According to both spouses, their life together was like a volcano. It subsided for a while, then erupted with terrible force. And there were a lot of infidelities. Deandra said in an interview that she once caught her husband with her friend, but each time she forgave him. In 1978, the thriller The China Syndrome was released. Douglas's payout in which amounted to $262,000. For his next film, the sports drama Running, Michael trained a lot and ran about 55 miles a week. In addition, he stopped smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day and lost almost 13 pounds. Then, the movie It's My Turn came out, but a successful career had to be put on pause for several years. In 1980, Douglas was seriously injured at a ski resort and returned to the screens only in 1983 with the crime thriller The Star Chamber. It didn't become widely known, unlike his next work, the adventure film Romancing the Stone. Michael, who also became the producer, bought the script for $250,000, and as a result, the box office around the world exceeded $85 million.
Oh, God damn it, what a ride, huh? I'm telling you, this has turned out to be one hell of a morning.
Equally successful was the sequel titled The Jewel of the Nile in 1985, although Douglas took part in the sequel without much desire. Soon, the musical A Chorus Line was released on the screens, and in 1987, the world saw 2 hits at once, Fatal Attraction and Wall Street. For the former, Douglas received $13 million, and for the later, 2 major film awards, a Golden Globe and an Oscar. In addition, the role of the stock market shark and concurrently the main villain ironically inspired many people to make a career in economics and the stock market. In 1989, Michael presented to the audience the crime thriller Black Rain and the comedy The War of the Roses. In the latter, he worked with his friend Danny DeVito. Then, he produced several films, including the action movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Double Impact, and starred in the military drama Shining Through. But the absolute hit of 1992 was the thriller Basic Instinct, for which Douglas received $15 million.
My sex life's actually pretty shitty since I stopped seeing you. Started developing calluses.
According to Michael, shooting the sex scene with Sharon Stone was torture because they had to repeat the choreography for 10 hours of the shooting day for 5 days in a row. In addition, the actor forbade shooting himself naked from the front. By the way, he performed almost all the car stunts on his own. The role of the detective from Basic Instinct became one of the brightest in Douglas's career. But he didn't get stuck in one role. In the next movie, Falling Down, he appeared in the image of an average guy who cannot stand the injustice of the world. To participate in the project, Michael canceled a family vacation and later called this role his favorite. Then, the actor added several roles to his filmography in the films Disclosure with a payout of $12 million and American President. While working on the latter, Douglas discovered a distant relationship to U.S. President Richard Nixon and both Bush, and the payout amounted to $15 million. His intuition for hits didn't let the actor and producer down. Each of his next projects was a great success. For example, the adventure film The Ghost and the Darkness and the thrillers A Perfect Murder and The Game, for each of which Michael received $20 million.
Oh, no, you've got to be kidding.
What is happening?
This is what I was trying to explain to you. This is a game.
Meanwhile, big changes were taking place in his personal life. Since the mid-90s, their marriage with Deandra was a conformity, and they just couldn't agree on the terms of the divorce. Even the marriage contract didn't make the task easier because Deandra wanted to increase the amount of compensation and Michael wanted to reduce it. At the same time, he was invested in a new relationship. In 1998, at the screening of The Mask of Zorro, he saw Catherine Zeta-Jones and was so fascinated by her that he immediately declared his desire to become the father of her children. Later, the actress would admit that she immediately fell in love with him, but didn't want to have an affair with the taken man. However, 6 months after they met, they would spend hours on the phone talking about everything in the world. After that, the relationship developed rapidly. On New Year's Eve of 1999, Catherine was already pregnant, and Michael offered his beloved a long-prepared ring with a 10-carat diamond surrounded by 28 smaller stones. Its cost is estimated from $1 to $2 million. The actor's first wife then, without sarcasm, told reporters that he would have to change his religion to one where polygamy is allowed. But Douglas was already ready to agree to all Deandra's conditions. So in 2000, he paid her $45 million and left her a mansion in Beverly Hills, as well as half of the estate in Majorca. By the way, Michael tried several times to find a buyer for his luxury property, but since the ex-wife remained the co-owner, he took it off the market. In August of the same year, Catherine gave birth to their first child, Dylan Michael, and in November, they had a gorgeous wedding of the year, which cost the actor $2 million. However, $1 million was covered because the magazine OK paid for an exclusive photos from the magnificent celebration. Interestingly, Michael and Catherine were born on the same day with a difference of 25 years. Personal affairs didn't prevent Douglas from actively acting and producing. So, in the same year 2000, he presented the movie Wonder Boys and together with his young wife appeared in the thriller Traffic. These two projects brought our hero $15 million. This was followed by the films One Night at Nicole's, Don't Say a Word, The In-Laws, and It Runs in the Family. The latter involved representatives of 3 generations of the Douglas family, Kirk and Diana, their son Michael, and grandson Cameron. In 2003, the family of Michael and Catherine welcomed their daughter Caraceta. After her birth, the celebrities moved to Bermuda, where our hero's mother is from. For more than 10 years, the couple lived in a quiet life, leaving only for filming, and the children didn't even know what their parents were doing. Their daughter recalled that as a child, she was sure that the main occupation of her dad's life was to bake pancakes for breakfast and please mom. The couple still owns this cozy nest, although they tried to sell it in 2019 for $10.6 million but changed their minds. After a short break in his creative activity, Douglas returned to the screens in 2006 with the films The Sentinel, You, Me and Dupree, and a year later presented the comedy drama King of California. Then came the movies Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, Solitary Man, and the continuation of the 1987 drama Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps.
You're the ninja generation. No income, no job, no assets. You got a lot to look forward to.
A busy period in his career again coincided with the vicissitudes of private life. His eldest son Cameron was a drug addict, and our hero had to forbid him to approach his family. In 2009, Cameron was accused of smuggling, which led him behind bars. By the way, Michael himself also suffered from addiction and in the 90s received treatment in a rehab clinic. His son also managed to get over a dangerous addiction, and Catherine Zeta-Jones at that difficult time became a real support for the family. But soon, another misfortune struck them. In 2010, Michael was diagnosed with laryngeal cancer. Catherine did everything to help her husband heal, but soon she couldn't stand the stress, and she started showing signs of bipolar disorder. Her periods of incredible activity were replaced by the deepest depression, and Michael didn't take his wife's problems seriously at all. These events almost put an end to their union, and they seriously talked about divorce, but still managed to make up. In 2012 to 2014, such films as Haywire and So It Goes, Beyond the Reach, and the biographical drama Behind the Candelabra were released. In the latter, the actor played the legend of American show business pianist and entertainer Liberace. And this role became a real gift for him after his illness. He trained for a long time, recreating the voice of his character and studied his piano playing technique. Also during this period, the actor starred in the comedy drama Las Vegas, along with Robert De Niro and Morgan Freeman.
It's just winding up a little too fast, and I'm feeling old and alone.
In 2015, Michael joined the Marvel Cinematic Universe playing the role of Hank Pym in the movie Ant-Man. He appeared in the same image in other projects, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Avengers Endgame, and the animated series What If. In addition, during the period, the actor starred in the action movie Unlocked, the thriller Animal World, took part in the voiceover of the children's series Green Eggs and Ham, and presented the series The Kominsky Method. For this comedic role, which is rare for him, Douglas received another Golden Globe.
Why?
It is fine.
Which is what I said.
No, you said it with an attitude, and you said, fine.
Forgive me. Fine.
Jesus, let's just order.
Fine.
In addition, our hero worked as a producer on the prequel to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The series rashade about a psychiatric hospital nurse. At the end of 2018, Michael Douglas's star was unveiled on the Hollywood Walk, dedicated to the 50th anniversary of his career. The actor admits that only work helps him keep in shape and to be fit, and he has a lot of projects. In February 2023, the premiere of the fantastic action movie Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania took place. where Douglas again played Hank Pym. The filming of the series, Franklin, about American President Benjamin Franklin, has already begun, and work is underway on a historical series about the relationship between two other presidents, Reagan and Gorbachev. Neither age nor illness affected Douglas's intelligence, and he was still surprising others with his ability to instantly remember the names of people he sees for the first time, and to notice the slightest nuances that distinguish the manner of the interlocutor's behavior. He loves golf and Formula One, and also does a lot of charity work. As the UN peace envoy, he is on a mission to draw the world's attention to nuclear disarmament and the protection of human rights. Philanthropy Douglas's family affair. Through the registered fund, they send money to various organizations. The entire inheritance from Kirk Douglas of $61 million was also sent to a charity, especially since Michael's fortune greatly exceeds his father's capital. It is estimated at $350 million earned as an actor and producer. In addition, Douglas invests. However, after the 2008 crisis, when he lost about 35 to 40% of his fortune, Michael became more conservative in investments. Douglas owns a valuable real estate portfolio with assets all over the world, which he gradually sells for his own benefit. He owned a plot of land with an area of more than 12 acres in Westchester County, New York, which he bought in 2015 for $11.3 million and sold in 2019 for $20.5 million. Around the same time, he and Catherine paid only $4.5 million for a house in the wealthy suburb of Irvington in New York State. The 3-story Georgian mansion has 8 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, several living rooms and dining rooms, an indoor swimming pool, and a picturesque view of the Hudson River. Douglas and his wife also own a large apartment in New York City overlooking Central Park. The 15-room penthouse includes a master bedroom and a cozy library. In 2021, the property was put up for sale, but apparently hasn't found its buyer yet. The actor can rarely be seen in commercial advertising. The exception is the German electronic stock trading company Comdirect. But the most interesting one is the 60-second video for the FBI, in which Michael appeared as his character from Wall Street. It is known that Douglas owns cars of different brands and times, from vintage to modern, in particular the Mercedes-Benz Army Type car and the Toyota Prius. Now, the Douglas acting dynasty is continued by Michael's eldest son, Cameron. But so far, his films haven't enjoyed great success. And which movie with this actor do you like the most?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
How Jet Li lives and how much he earns. Jet Li, whose real name is Li Lianji, was born in the capital of China, Beijing, on April 26, 1963, and was the 5th and youngest child in the family. When the boy was 2 years old, his father died, and the mother had to raise her children alone. As a child, Li had a calm personality and exemplary behavior. Mom didn't allow her youngest son to swim, ride a bike, or anything that could in theory cause injury, and Li obeyed and didn't even try to lie to her. The future actor went to school at the age of 8 and was a year older than his classmates. The teachers loved the boy because he was honest and humble. He was even allowed to help lead daily physical exercises. Little Lianji stood in front of all the school children and counted out the rhythm with a serious look. In the summer, after finishing the first grade, the local authorities sent him along with all his classmates to the Beijing sports camp, where Li was assigned to join a wushu group. As a hardworking student, he diligently followed the instructions of the coach, which amazed him. Li was the only one of his peers to whom the coach suggested continuing training after the end of the summer vacation. So the boy began to practice daily not only the physical technique of wushu, but also the spiritual practices of this martial art. The coach had high hopes for his student and even helped the poor family with food so that Li's young body would develop fully. When he was 9 years old, Lianji was preparing for his first competition outside of Beijing and looked forward to traveling by train, but his mother was terrified that her child would be so far from home. Li even almost stayed, but it was already impossible to refuse to participate. At the performance, the boy was recognized as the best, and after returning home, he was released from classes in a regular school and transferred to a sports school. In those days, electricity was often cut off in Beijing, but this didn't interfere with the coach's training. During one of these dark training sessions, Li injured his foot but was afraid to say anything about it. With a swollen foot, he trained with everyone for 2 days until it turned out that it was a fracture. But even then, the boy was not released from classes. While the bone was healing, the boy practiced punching. In 1974, at the age of 11, Lee went to the United States with the Chinese national team. There, the young athlete performed brilliantly and was noticed by US President Richard Nixon. Nixon was so inspired by Lee's combat training, he jokingly invited him to become his bodyguard when Jet grew up. But he replied enchantingly, "I don't want to protect a particular person. I will protect millions of my compatriots." But despite the meeting with the President of the United States, Lee still considers the main achievement of that momentous trip to be a change in his outlook and his attitude towards the American people. The boy realized that ordinary people in the United States are friendly and don't wish evil to the people of China. In the United States, Lee didn't forget about his mother. He bought her a Swiss watch with the pocket money he received there. Returning to his homeland, the young athlete continued to participate in sports competitions and conquer new heights. Moreover, the 12-year-old boy often had to compete with athletes much older than him, in their 20s or even 30s. Over the next 4 years, Lee, along with other Chinese athletes, traveled half the world demonstrating wushu techniques. Lee strove to achieve the popularization of wushu in all countries, and he succeeded. Between 1975 and 1979, he became the Chinese wushu champion 5 times. The boy's athletic success contributed to the disclosure of his acting talent. Once at a competition, the athlete was noticed by director Zhang Xinyan. He got the idea to make another Bruce Lee out of the fighter. And what's remarkable, it was Bruce Lee who was Li Lianji's idol as a child. The boy's debut film was The Shaolin Temple, which tells the story of an orphan boy who was brought up in a monastery by Shaolin monks. The film was released in 1982 and was a resounding success. The directors didn't think twice before filming the sequel to this story in 1984, Shaolin Temple 2, Kids from Shaolin. And the final third part, Shaolin Temple 3, North and South Shaolin, appeared on the big screen in 1985. Actually, Lee received the nickname Jet after filming in the Shaolin trilogy. During the filming of the movies about Shaolin, the novice actor had a conflict with the director, after which Jet decided to make his own movies and star in them. But never having had a defeat before, Jet Li faced some setbacks. His first and last work as a director was Born to Defense, which was released in 1986 and failed miserably at the box office. In addition, the actor suffered a back injury during filming. Also, the attempt to obtain American citizenship was unsuccessful. The actor began to pay more attention to his personal life and having a family. In 1987, Jet married Huang Qian, an athlete who was a member of the Beijing Wushu team and also co-starred with him in Kids from Shaolin. In marriage, they had 2 daughters, Si and Taimi, but the couple divorced 3 years later. In 1989, the action movie Dragon Fight was released, and in 1991, the world saw another amazing film with Jet Li, Once Upon a Time in China, which was followed by 2 sequels released in the next 2 years. Speaking about the early films with Jet Li, we should mention such movies as The Master, Swordsman 2, The Legend 2, Last Hero in China, Kung Fu Cult Master, The New Legend of Shaolin, My Father is a Hero, Dr. Y in the Scripture with No Words, Black Mask, Once Upon a Time in China and America, Hitman, as well as Tai Chi Master and the Bodyguard from Beijing. The action movie Fist of Legend, which appeared on the big screen in 1994, can be called a remake of Bruce Lee's Fist of Fury.
中國人唔可以入賭場，出去！呢度係中國地方，中國人去邊都得。什麼？
And the 1995 picture Meltdown was remembered by the audience for its plot. The director of the film quarreled with the famous Jackie Chan and decided to make a parody of him, openly making fun of the actor and his family in the movie. In 1998, conquering audiences in Asia, Europe, and America, Jet Li made his Hollywood debut in the blockbuster Lethal Weapon 4.
哥，很久没见了。
快又是我们的天下。
His role was first offered to Jackie Chan, but he refused because he didn't want to play a negative character. As for Jet, this was his first role as a villain. In 1999, Lee got married for the second time. He chose Hong Kong actress Nina Li Chi, who is 2 years older than her husband. They met each other back in 1989 when they co-starred in the movie Dragon Fight. The actor was still married then. Lee and Nina have been dating for a long time and legalized the relationship only after 10 years. Jet Li is sure that Nina is his soulmate and a person who understands him like no other. The couple has 2 daughters, Jane and Jada. 2 years after his brilliant work in Lethal Weapon 4, the actor starred in the dramatic action movie Romeo Must Die.
These guys find you up here, you're gonna have some serious problems, so I suggest you go out the window.
No, I like this way.
All right, it's your funeral.
The film paid off at the box office, and Lee received a $2.4 million royalty. Another important feature of Jet is his endless love and concern for his family. In order to be with his wife in the last months of pregnancy, he turned down the role in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. In addition to this film, the actor also refused to star in The Matrix. Lee said that the cause was a fight over copyright. He didn't want the rights to the film to be completely transferred to the creators of the picture so that they could own them as intellectual property. While acting in The One in 2001, the actor managed to earn $7.5 million, even though the main role in the movie was originally supposed to be played by Dwayne Johnson.
I am Eula. I'm nobody's bitch. You are mine.
In this film, Jet worked with Jason Statham for the first time. In the same year, the actor played a role in the film Kiss of the Dragon, earning $5 million.
What did you do to me?
I put a needle in your neck.
That's it?
In a certain point. Very forbidden. It's called the Kiss of the Dragon.
An interesting fact from this film is that the tunnel in which Jet Li's character is overtaken by the French police is the same tunnel in which Princess Diana died in 1997. In one of the scenes, Jet's character attacks Pimp Lupo, played by Max Ryan. It was assumed that the dialogue between the actors would be filmed separately from the fight, but when they finished exchanging lines, the director for some reason didn't say cut, and Lee made a punch. This take was included in the final version of the movie, along with Ryan's completely genuine surprise. This incident came in handy because the filmmakers had to adjust the fights to the tastes of the audience, who wanted to see more realistic scenes. The fight scene between the characters of Jet Li and Cyril Raffaelli even had to be slowed down as the actors were moving too fast. To star in the 2002 film Hero, Jet Li agreed to a fee reduction to $11 million. Jackie Chan was offered to star in the role of the Emperor, but he refused. It was the most expensive Chinese movie by the time of its release. Another action movie with Lee in the lead role, Cradle to the Grave, was released in 2003. In 2004, information appeared in the media about the death of the great actor and athlete. As it turned out, he was on vacation with his family in the Maldives during the tsunami. Fortunately, the information about his death turned out to be only a rumor. Jet survived, only injured his leg, saving his daughter. After this incident, the actor spends most of his time with his wife and children. In 2005, Luc Besson wrote the script for Danny the Dog specifically for Jet Li.
You big fucking asshole!
The movie features not only the longest-running fight scene with Lee in his career, but also the most violent one. The next film starring the actor was Fearless. Its creators wanted to name the picture The Legend of the Fighter, but then it turned out that such a film already existed. For ethical reasons, Lee refused to perform some of the techniques planned by the fight director. Elements such as a slap in the face or a blow with the back of the head seemed to the actor too incorrect in relation to Europeans and Americans. In addition to hand-to-hand fights, the action movie also features a scene of a battle with melee weapons. Anthony DeLongis and Jet Li broke at least 6 swords during the filming. At that time, Jet was engaged in charitable activities and has been an ambassador for the Red Cross since 2006. The athlete is a follower of Tibetan Buddhism. He even met personally with the Dalai Lama. He is attracted to the philosophy of Wushu, but according to Lee, this kind of martial arts used for self-defense doesn't stand up to criticism. He strives to help young Chinese people understand what life is and shares his knowledge of Buddhism. It should be noted that not all of Jet Li's films were successful. One of the unsuccessful works was the movie War, filmed in 2007. The actor has stated in several interviews that he is not happy with either this film or its production. He went so far as to say that the film sucked and didn't trust the director Philip Atwell. Even halfway through filming, he knew he would get mediocre ratings instead of profits. In late 2007, Lee returned to his homeland and starred in the Sino-Hong Kong film The Warlords. The main focus of the film was not on the martial arts, but on the dramatic component. For this work, Jet received a Hong Kong Film Award nomination for Best Actor. The actor's fee for this film was $13 million. In the spring of 2007, Lee founded his own nonprofit foundation, One Foundation, which aims to combat the consequences of natural disasters, including psychological trauma. In 2008, Lee made his first screen appearance alongside martial arts veteran Jackie Chan in Rob Minkoff's action-adventure The Forbidden Kingdom.
You punch him again. Snake!
It's not right for snake. Perhaps eagle.
Soon Jet starred as the main villain in the fantasy action movie The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor with Maria Bello and Brendan Fraser. After a long period of work in the United States, the actor was finally able to obtain American citizenship, but he renounced it in 2009 and also renounced Chinese citizenship in favor of Singapore citizenship. Jet chose this country because of the quality education system his younger daughters needed. Also in the same year, Lee starred in the military drama The Founding of a Republic and launched his own fitness program called Wuji, which consists of elements of Wushu, yoga, and Pilates. Adidas soon launched the clothing line for this program emblazoned with the initials JL. Jet's return to the film industry after a year-long hiatus took place on the set of the action movie The Expendables.
When I get hurt, the wound's bigger. Because I'm smaller. When I travel, I need to go farther.
I know, because you're smaller, right?
Yes.
Which brought together such stars as Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, and Mickey Rourke. In 2012-2014, Lee played the same role in the sequels The Expendables 2 and The Expendables 3. In 2010, Jet Li became the first Asian face of the luxury Swiss watch company Hublot. In 2011, Jet created the Taji Zen lifestyle company with the Chinese entrepreneur Jack Ma, founder of the Alibaba Group. The company's main mission is health and happiness for all through the art of Tai Chi. In the following years, the following movies starring Jet Li were released: the drama Ocean Heaven, Flying Swords of Dragon Gate, The Sorcerer and the White Snake, Badges of Fury, League of Gods, and Gong Shou Dao. The latest and we hope not the last movie that Jet Li starred in was Mulan, released in 2020, in which he played the role of the Emperor.
Hua Mulan, the people owe you a debt of thanks. I owe you my life.
Since 2016, the actor has been actively maintaining his personal page on Instagram, publishing his photos. A photo of actor Jet Li got on social media, in which he looked so bad that fans were seriously worried. The actor admitted that he's been suffering from hyperthyroidism since 2010, but he assures everyone that everything is fine with him. Despite his deteriorating health, the actor has no plans to leave the film industry and continues to act in various projects. "If I leave now, I will end up in a wheelchair later," he commented on his decision. "But if I don't leave, I will end up in a wheelchair, but it will be encrusted with diamonds." In his spare time, Jet plays badminton and ping pong, rides a bicycle, reads, and meditates. Martial arts superstar Jet Li turned 57 on April 26, 2020. On his birthday, he shared the best gift for his fans: family photos. In 2020, the actor's net worth was $250 million. His income from filming is the highest among Chinese movie stars. Jet's wife Nina's hometown of Shanghai is home to the actor's huge mansion worth 200 million won, about $30 million. The actor bought it in 2008, according to rumors, as a dowry for one of his daughters, but never lived in it. Since then, the house has fallen into disrepair and even was converted into a hostel for security guards. In Singapore, in Bukit Timah, the actor owns an elite bungalow for 20 million Singapore dollars, or 15 million US dollars. It is also known that the actor owns real estate in Los Angeles and lives there when he comes to the United States. Jet Li is not a big car enthusiast. He has a BMW 745 Li and a Spyker C8 Spider. Even though the actor lives in Singapore, having renounced his Chinese citizenship, he remains the favorite actor of his compatriots. What made Jet Li so successful? What do you think? If you like the video, leave a like and also subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss anything interesting.